So here we are today at the famous Temple 100 circuit up in Saintfield in County Down. So I'm just going to take you for a walk around the circuit and show you some highlights of where racers used to race. Incidents happen, of course incidents always happen in road racing. So start the video in a couple of minutes. Just going to turn you off now as I'm on my own today. So this is the old Temple 100 circuit. As we can see, we're right at the hairpin here. The riders, Ray McCulloch, Abe Alexander, Courtney Junk, all the top boys used to come down into this corner here, absolutely flying before they turned right and headed up the Lisburn Road to the start and finish line. So we'll take you on up there a wee minute. Just stop the video now. So the riders used to come flying over the top of this hill in the direction that I'm walking here, and that was the start and finish line. So the riders used to come hurtling past the start and finish, and this was the first right hand corner they used to come around. I'd say they were doing about 130, 140 miles an hour maybe around this corner on the big bikes. So we'll take a run round further on around the circuit. So you can imagine the likes of Philip McCallum, Sam McClements coming along here, hurtling along here. And they're heading up towards Hannah's Jumps. We'll take a run up to Hannah's Jumps a wee minute. So there we can see the start of Hannah's Jumps. That yellow van is. The bikes used to come along here, hurtling along here until they came to the cottages on the left hand side. So we'll take you down there next. Here we are at the end of the Hannah's Jumps, and you can see the cottages on the left hand side. And the riders used to come down here full pelt, heading towards the right hand corner. I remember Robert Dunlop on a 250 Honda taking that right hand corner at about 120 miles an hour, going down the far side of it on the back wheel. So we'll take you down there in a wee minute. So that's the right hand corner you can see in the distance. It's actually a left handed corner as we look at it. But as I said, Robert Dunlop came right down the side of that hill onto that little jump on the back wheel. And then they headed on up here to a series of bends before they came to Prentice's Crossroads. So we'll take you up there in a minute. So we're up at Laurel Bank Road. This is the road where the Brian Bell scrambles on every year. There's 2 rounds of it. This is where the riders used to come up the road, absolutely flying along here, come past this farm and up to this left-handed corner, just before Prentice's Crossroads. You can see that house on the right-hand side. I remember a guy came off his bike going into this left-hand corner and ended up in the residence front garden, but he was perfectly okay. But I watched many's a time here the Temple 100. So this is looking up the road to the cottage on the left hand side, and now we're down at Prentice's Crossroads. Up the road further on there is Norman Watt motorcycles, but the riders used to head down towards Rockmount Golf Club and then on into the countryside. So we'll take you on down there now. Sorry about the shaking camera. Now the riders used to come towards us this direction here and turn into this extremely tight right hand corner where that car's going up. Remember Philip McCallum absolutely piling the coals on round here. So we'll take a run up. We'll discuss the Temple 100 circuit a little bit more. So as they came out of that corner up there, they came along the road further up here, up to this farmhouse on the left hand side where there's a left hand corner. So we'll take a run up there now. So we can see here we're up at the farmhouse, and the riders used to come along here and hurtle down this road into a bit of a straight and up into a fast sweeping right-hander way in the distance. So we'll take a run up there and let you see what that's like. So as we can see, the bikes used to come towards us here, heading down to where the cows are now, and they used to be completely flat out and went up into that right-hander. I'll tell you a little bit of a story when we get to the right-hand corner. So here we are at the next part of the track. Now, as you can see, this is a left-hand corner looking down it, but the riders were coming towards us here. It was a right-hand corner, and they were heading up the road to a left-hand corner at the top of the hill. Now, I was doing flag marshal just in there, and there was a rider at the top of the hill behind me, had an accident, and he was lying on the road with a broken arm, cracked ribs, smashed up shoulder. So unfortunately I had to stop the race and put the red flag up. But that was a long time ago. That may have been the last time the Temple 100 race was run. So we'll head on up the road a wee bit. Maybe see the mountains some more in the distance there. Very wet down there, there's a lot of cloud, but the rider came up here from down there, unfortunately lost control of his motorcycle and hit this bank. Now this looks like a grass bank, but we'll actually bring you up and let you see what it is. I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually a brick wall. But he was okay. So we're heading up to this next part of the road, and we're heading into a tight left-hander. So we'll take you on up a wee bit and let you have a look at that. So you can see the riders were coming in this direction here, so that was a left-hander as they could see it. As we look at it, it's a right-hand bend. The riders came round here, very tight section of the track. I used to bring the scouts up here, members of my patrol, on a Friday evening, and Sam McBride was up here, and we used to put straw bales all around here off the back of a tractor. So we'll take you on down and let you look at another very interesting part of the track. See, the riders used to come up here, was the Ockley Road, and then they used to turn right at this crossroads. And I remember once that the late great Joey Dunlop actually went through the hedge here and ended up in the ladies and gentlemen's garden. She wasn't too impressed. She came out with a brush and she gently brushed him down. I think that's the way we'll put it. But we'll head on down, and we're heading very close to the roller coaster. So that's looking back at the T-junction there, and the riders used to come down here. Absolutely full pelt. There was a very serious incident just ahead of that right-hand corner. There was a post for holding up GPO lines, was covered in grass. The rider lost control and unfortunately lost his life. I think he may have came from down south. Probably somebody in the comments will know, but we'll head on down a bit. So as you can see, the bikes would have been coming in this direction here, and this is the start of the roller coaster. So just walk you down. Now the camera's not going to pick this up, but show you in a second as there's a car coming behind me. You see, the camera's not going to pick this up, but that drop off is practically vertical. Not quite vertical, but very nearly. And it just rises up out of the ground. I remember I was spectating here, and the police had what I call one of their hair dryers, speed camera probably nowadays, and the policeman was able to record a speed of 115 miles an hour on a racing motorcycle, and that was, I think, a 1252. Stanley Junk had a bad accident here. I think he flipped the motorcycle right over backwards, but he survived it. But we'll head on down. Here's a car coming, so we'll see what way this car tackles this to give you an indication of how steeply this road drops off. Quite steep. So we'll head on down to the next part. As we can see here, we're looking back at the roller coaster, so the riders would have been coming over towards us, hammering down here, and I think it was somewhere down here that Ian King lost his life. Brian Reid and him collided on the first lap, and unfortunately Ian King was killed. The racing was suspended for the rest of the day. But Brian Reid's still about, and Ian King will always be remembered, as will all the other road racers, both now and those who have passed away. So looking back up the road, that's the end of the roller coaster, and they come down into a section here where they go into a series of S-bends. And I remember pulling the fella out of the hedge with my son there. He had cracked vertebrae and a couple of other minor injuries, but he was okay. We took him across the field on a stretcher and put him into the back of St John's ambulance. We'll take you on down there and let you see that bit. So as we can see on the Temple 100 circuit, we're down into the S section here just before we head back down into the hairpin at the start of the track. The guy lost control of his machinery just over there, just before that tree on the right hand side, and ended up stuck halfway through the hedge. There was quite a few of us that day. We pulled him out, took him across that field, and then on down a bit there was an ambulance, but he was okay. This is a very bumpy part of the track here. There's a lot of traffic about this time of the day, so we'll take you run on down a wee bit further. We're just looking back up the road to what was the right-hander as the riders were approaching it, coming down where this car's going. I remember being up here one day and it was particularly wet, and a guy on I think it may have been Manx Norton, not sure, it's either 350 or 500 single, lost control of it in the wet, actually slid right down the road here in his back, right the whole way down to about 20 yards, 20 meters past here, and needless to say his back was fairly raw after it, but I'm sure he recovered. So we're nearly back down into the hairpin section of the temple. We'll take you back down and that will almost finish the video. That's us back down into the hairpin at the temple course. If you have liked this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you wish to support this channel, consider joining Patreon. The link's always the first description down below. Well, thank you for watching. Until the next time, bye bye.